I've gone to one of my inspections in Patiala. So I was going to the pediatric ward to the blood bank. Then I was walking through this pediatric ward. I remember a child held my sari. 3.5 साल का बच्चा था. आज भी मुझे बहुत दिक्कत होती है. 3.5 साल के बच्चे ने मेरी साड़ी पकड़ी और तो मैं पीछे मुड़ी. So he was having a blood transfusion. Her mother was sitting next to him and she was crying, literally crying. I couldn't understand कि blood transfusion हो रहा है. मुझे लगा कि शायद blood नहीं मिल रहा है या पैसे से तब blood लेते थे. Husband wasn't there. घर बिक चुका था.
Today, I have the privilege of having a sit down with Dr. Vinita Srivastav, a public health visionary whose groundbreaking reforms has pretty much shaped up how the healthcare delivery looks like, specifically for the underserved communities.
We got an insight that much of the blood is going for maternal health, child health, these hemoglobinopathies, left out blood that is plasma, which is used for the fractionation and it is used for hemophilia patient. We all sat around, there were 20 organizations which came across the country. So we sat together, then C.K. Mishra, that time he was additional secretary, and we gave them a presentation. Thanks to C.K. Mishra sir and Manoj Jalani sir that day. He said, we need to take it on file. Whole night we worked. People were there, they have to go back, but they cancelled their flights. They said, Vinita, you have taken such a good honor, we will be there with you. When we started working on this, we started going to the interiors. And the interiors were very different. And we came up with the best medicines for them, blood, everything. These guidelines were so beautifully drafted that it was, I remember there was a Lancet Commission's report which said these are one of the best guidelines of India. 2016 guidelines which came in. So while we were drafting the sickle cell mission roadmap, so I was just going through what exactly needed. So these ICDs, WCDs department is so important. When we are talking about the antenatal care and the mother care and the child care, why they are not be involved? It's not only health, they have to be involved. Who are going to be caregivers, not in real way but in another way. Caregivers doesn't mean only the health workers are the caregivers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Big Idea. A Voice of Healthcare's one-of-a-kind initiative, where we've decided to have a sit-down with all the change makers and leaders from the Indian healthcare fraternity with a simple idea to learn their inspiring stories and strategies that are pretty much shaping up the Indian healthcare ecosystem. Today, I have the privilege of having a sit-down with Dr. Vinita Srivastav, a public health visionary whose groundbreaking reforms has pretty much shaped up how the healthcare delivery looks like, specifically for the underserved communities. With over 25 years of service, Ma'am has been serving in areas such as Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, Department of TB Control, and many more, with groundbreaking reforms and over 32 policies in segments such as disease areas of sickle cell, thalassemia, hemophilia, TB interventions, AIDS control, and many more. In today's conversation, I am planning to dive into conversations which starts from what all started by deviating ma'am from whatever she was doing to now public health services. Explore the complex realities of how ministries work, some hearing insights as well, and also hearing firsthand how inclusive and culturally sensitive healthcare delivery can pretty much change the lives and systems. So without any further ado, welcome ma'am. It is a pleasure to have you with us, and I can't wait to hear all the possible discussions that we have today. Thank you so much. So ma'am, as I said, I've pretty much summed up what I plan to learn from you today, but let's just start from where your journey began.
So it's a long journey actually, as you said, that it is going to be 25 years now. So I was posted in Uttarakhand, right? So when we started, when that was not even a state. So, and when it became a state, my son was born. So during the delivery period, I have a PPH, and you know how PPH is difficult. I had a blood transfusion that time. And it was very difficult to get the blood in this city like Dehradun even. Very difficult. And I was in a hospital. We were searching for the blood, but couldn't get it. And finally, I have to. My mother asked my sister to come and donate. She was doing her basically training in Nainital. She's a PCS officer, so she was doing her training. She came, donated her blood. The blood was transfused without any cross matching and other things. And what happened was, I had a transfusion reaction. So I have to face a life, and for my own survival, I have to fight for my life for at least 3 to 4 days, where I was not knowing where I am, where is my kid, where the mother needs the kid or the kid needs some mother. I was not knowing. And when I got over with these things, the thing which came to my mind was that I belong to such a family which has all privileges. But the people who are sitting in interiors, how they are going to survive, because PPH is it's a very normal problem in our country that time. And it was, if you see the maternal mortality at that time, it was too high. I wasn't knowing about the much of the matter, but I was knowing the basics that the ladies require it when it is needed. When I got over, I spoke to my boss, who was Sudarshan Agarwalji, that governor that time. I said, sir, what is we are going to do? He said, see, look, Vinita, it's a very difficult subject even in Delhi. Like, he constructed this rotary blood bank here. We don't get enough blood to take care of the people at Delhi also. So how do you think about having it in Dehradun and city like Uttarakhand, which is a hilly terrain? So we started, and it was a new state. We started working on it. Keshav Deshi Raju, who was the principal secretary that time, was a great help. He said, Vinita, let's start working on it. You draft the plans. We draft the plans for the hospital and specific plans for the blood banks. So we came up with those all blood banks in every district. Only 3 were left, which when I came to NHM, I initiated those as well. It was Tiri, Bageshwar and Champawat. So I remember everything. It's like a journey. So we came up and we started working on it. We also took the privilege of having IMA blood bank over there. And then we started with a voluntary donation over there, which was not there at all. It was totally on replacement. People never knew how to go for the blood or how much it is important. So that's what we started with the journey. And that was a great thing to learn over there, because hilly terrains has a different problem altogether. By learning this, it was not only blood. I learned many other things, like TB was another big problem in Uttarakhand. So all these things were a learning, and we used to travel to 20 to 25 kilometers on our foot to see those PSC, CSCs, because they didn't have the route that time. Very different and very challenging, but good, and with God's grace, I was able to learn. And I remember with my 2 kids, I used to move around. It was very difficult holding one kid on my tummy, because with the baby bag and another on. So I traveled so much in Uttarakhand. That was the thing which I started. And then finally when I came to NACO, and again I got this division of blood safety. Dr. Madam Sujata Rao was there, and I still remember Aradhana Johri Madam, who was additional secretary that time. They said, Vinita, now you have to take up this, because that time voluntary blood donation in India was only 35% when I joined. So it was a good learning for me from Uttarakhand to national level. But still, the issues were there, and we were trying to tackle those. So, and after that, the voluntary blood donation in India went to 80%. It is all credits to all senior officials who were sitting there, and all the society and organization, because until there is a community participation, you can't have all these things. So mostly important was to build up the trust among the patients, and build up the trust among the communities as well, to come forward to come and donate blood, both ways. So always when the government system works, it's 2 ways. It's not 1 way. So you have to sit on the other side of the table to understand what are their issues, how the trust has to be built up, and how the community will be participating, adapting those things.
I mean, what an inspiring journey, ma'am. Right from being a new mother who did not know much about how these things work, cut to now where you're leading so many reforms. That's a journey to be celebrated. While we discuss about what the journeys have been, ma'am, now, since you've served a major part of your service to the tribal health communities as well, I'm sure there might be many health disparities. Some you just mentioned about TB, about PPH and blood banks, but Were there some key specific disparities that you'd like to address today, which were a shock to you back then, and now, we've changed the reforms?
So tribal, they are very vulnerable people and very sweet people, very, open to the heart, very transparent people. They need your love. It's not love in that sense, but the sense that the government needs to give it to them. That was the concern. And I got an opportunity to work in tribal affairs. That was the best thing, I think. It gave me an insight to what exactly is happening in the interiors. The disparity, as you said, is a big challenge over there. They don't have access to the health services. Why? Now, coming up to those things, if you go to interiors of any of the interiors of Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand or Northeast, even the PSCs over there are not working. I was just looking to one of our videos about Gram Chikitsalaya, which has recently a small film has come up. And they say, they show us the PSC. That is the exact situations in the states. People, they have their own faiths. Now, tribal healers were the belief. They much believe in their tribal. If they have their faith in tribal healers, they go to them rather going to a PSC and CSC. So they are closed down. Even people working there, they don't want that these people should come up, because there are challenges. Challenges in the sense, the doctor who is staying there doesn't want to stay there. Why? Because hardly people are that much committed to the organizations. Everybody wants a good school for their kids. Everybody wants the best houses, this, that. While I was going for the motivation for these doctors in the medical colleges, I always listen to them, ma'am, where are we going to take our children? It's not like that. Your own perceptions are wrong about this. The perception has to be changed. Like if you're doing your MBBS, make them sure that they have to go to interior, serve there at least for 1.5 years or 2 years and then come back. Give them a seat, give them numbers. Incentives are important because they don't understand it. But our way of teaching has become very different, which I see. Now NMC also has to take some cognizance about it, saying that now the teachings, or it's not only teachings, it's your perception has to be changed nowadays, which is much more important for our health services. So the tribal areas were very difficult. So when we started going to the PSC, CSC said, we don't want to go. We have our own doctors. They showed us, look, he is a better doctor for us. वो झाड़ फूक कर देता है, वो आपको झाड़ू लगा देता है और आपको कुछ दवाएं दे देता है, and they give you tribal medicines. And which are those medicines? They have not been verified. Neither they've been verified. So these were the challenges. And then we started looking at the areas where it was very difficult. We started talking to the sarpanchas over there. We started talking to the community leaders over there, tribal community leaders, and tell them, see, what you are doing is not correct. We have a better system, which is it is already there, which is not working because you guys are not supportive. Now the trust, as again I said, that is the best thing, which is more important, that the doctors, the people working here has to build up trust amongst the community people. So now these community leaders and these Jhola Chap doctors who were supposed to be their tribal healer, we started calling, they were only healers, we started giving them a name of called tribal healers. Now they should have the feeling that we are also important in this community. Government system is not taking them away, but making them a referral system for us. Now people used to go and ask how to go about it. We sensitized them in that way that they started sending them to the PSC CSCs. That was the way. We also situated some of the health ATMs over there where they can get their test done. They didn't want to go to the district hospitals or the nearby CSCs to get the test. Why they should go? The earning, because of the everyday earning of their gets ruined. So they don't want to go. So now the government initiative was to give these services at the doorstep of those people. So we started putting a small ATM. You put up your blood, 105 parameters are being shown. Now and then that too telemedicine. Some of the doctors in the country are very good. I should appreciate them like anything. We make a team, started working as a telemedicine from the tribal affairs department, which was very difficult for me. But because tribal never have these things. So all credits to our ministers and senior officials, as I said. They said, no, let's start working in a different. So we basically molded the situations. We started going to them, we started talking to them, we started talking to their own languages, we started putting their faith on it. When we started giving them, the ration was tweaked just for them. Only that area's ration was tweaked, just imagine, which was not possible. We did everything. Then they had a small trust on us and they started going to the PSCs. The health ATMs gave them the credits. Then this e-Ashidi system helped us out, and the basically the small medicine shop, which was done by HL. So these three systems, where it was situated, we couldn't do it in all the villages, but wherever we could have done, it has made a lot of reference. The trust, the Heart Bazaars was the place where we used to give the IC. We used to talk to them. It was not like that ki we are just giving pamphlets and making announcements. No, we used to show them, see, these are the things which are there for you. Now, if you have some problems, just come to us. So all these people were from their community who were chasing them, who were training them, and who were making conversation with. Those were the trusted people of the government. We identified, we gave them little bit of incentives, not much of the money, I should say, but the trust, the respect which we gave them made a lot of difference. So it's a vice versa. We cannot always bang on them. It's like we have to give the trust from them. Until there is a good community participation, any of the schemes cannot prevail and cannot work also. So adaptation is very important.
I think back few months, ma'am, we had a small program on snakebite management. And we did a small virtual initiative, which you were also a part of. I remember calling some of the sarpanches, the Gram Panchayat heads, and our idea was just to make them, as you said, the hack is to make them inclusive of the program rather than letting them know, okay, so you'll have to step aside and then let us do our job. So I think reforms like what you've suggested here makes all the difference.
The sarpanches are very good, and the community leaders, they are very strong people. We should take care of them. And they can make the difference to their own societies, their own communities, as well as to our schemes as well. So the way is to take, and when you are talking about snake bite and worming, because these tribal people do inworming of the snakes. There was no money decided for them, So we decided, they were just provided 200, 300 rupees to get the snake worming done. This is not correct. So there the Ministry of Tribal Affairs intervened. We need to have a particular amount which should be given to them. So we decided the money amount for them. That was also circulated to Forest Department, to the divisions, all the departments who are connected to it. So now it is happy. They are happy, at least they are giving. So now, see, they are not vulnerable people, as I said. They're not having enough job also. It is just one part of their job. And we have to understand that their job has to be understood and that has to be respected. So giving them only 300, they cannot survive with their family. Can you? Can we? No. Then why we are expecting from them? So there should be a particular, the set amount, which can run their families at least. And they put their life into dangers. We have to understand. So that's very important.
And these subjects are very culturally sensitive as we speak.
Very we have to respect each and every person, I think so. Even if you're talking about I'm talking about the person who are the snake charmers. They do the snake inworming also. They have to be respected. They have to be understand that you are doing a big job for us. We get the medicines from the snake inworming, right? We get all these things. Then, so why aren't we taking? We should take care of them. That's the big point.
Right, ma'am. As we've discussed about how the tribal health communities have their own set of challenges and disparities, and how government initiatives are trying to bridge the gap, as I say. Ma'am, you've served in diverse roles, as I mentioned in the start. You've stepped from some specific services to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare to NHA now, and then also a brief gag in tribal affairs. How have these experiences shaped your perspective in systemic healthcare delivery, and what specifically healthcare challenges do we, foresee?
If I talk about, I just told you I was at NACO. It was a great learning over there. Then somehow there was a accident, I should say. There were some ladies who died of lack of blood, and there was a hue and cry across the country. That was a difficult time for us. Keshav Teshi Raju, that time Secretary Health, called me up कि why this has happened, what there was some shortages and so on. So he could understand this blood should be here at NHM, understanding where we have much of the maternal mortality, if you see at that time, was pretty high. And that was one reason was of lack of blood as well. So I was put it into NHM. 6th May I was in ACO, and 7th May I was in NHM. I remember I was like transferred, asked to work over there. There was a blood cell which was created. And only person in blood cell with 3 people said, you have to look after the blood services about entire this maternal and child health also. Earlier what we were doing, we were only thinking of the safety of blood. NACO talks about safety of blood. We were not talking about the accessibility in that way. Now this was again a big challenge, that maternal mortality needs to be reduced, which is much for this. So while joined NHM, started working, learning about NHM, because NHM is very wide. So National Health Mission gave me a big perspective anyway, and these PIPs which are there in the end, our additional secretary used to take it. One of a very dynamic officer, I should say, Mr. Manoj Jhalani was there. And he asked me to draw the entire plan for this. I said, sir, okay, you give me, and I still remember he gave me at least 18 office working hours to plan that. We planned it, and he used to say, no, I think this will not work, let's do this. There were many other things. Madam Limatullah was there. So these people, and we only three were working. We also wanted to get this free blood for the country. So we all started working in that way. And this was, when we were doing this, that we have to do free blood, there was an assessment done across the country. Now we didn't have the money for the assessment. That was the best part. Started talking to the principal secretaries down below. Everybody, please let me know what is your requirement of blood. But nobody knew it. And then he sent a letter saying, we want to know the exact requirement of blood, what is required. And in that case, we came to know about the entire health systems. One thing is connected to other. We don't connect because we work in silos, and that's a problem for us. Until we work as a team, silos means divisions has to work together. So when we started working in that way, we got an insight that much of the blood is going for maternal health, child health, these hemoglobinopathies, and the left out blood, that is plasma, which is used for the fractionation, and it is used for hemophilia patient. So I said, sir, we already having all these things, why not to work on these blood disorders? So I said, now you're jumping on the other ground, which we don't have in our NHM. We didn't have these things in our NHM. I said, sir, we can plan it out. During my NACO period, there was another story which came up. I've gone through one of my inspections in Patiala. So I was going to the pediatric ward to the blood bank. Now, when I was walking through this pediatric ward, I remember a child who held my sari. 3.5 साल का बच्चा था. आज भी मुझे बहुत दिक्कत होती है. उस 3.5 साल के बच्चे ने मेरी साड़ी पकड़ी और तो मैं पीछे मुड़ी. So he was having a blood transfusion. Her mother was sitting next to him and she was crying, literally crying. I couldn't understand कि blood transfusion हो रहा है. मुझे लगा कि शायद blood नहीं मिल रहा है या पैसे से तब blood लेते थे. So I asked him कि क्या हुआ है. He said he has a thalassemia. And he has 2 kids. Husband wasn't there. घर बिक चुका था. तो मेरे पास I was not having anything. I went to the blood bank. I asked them कि blood ये तो chargeable है. तब तक ब्लड का कोई कॉस्ट सबका डिसाइड नहीं था कि इन पेशेंट्स को. द मोमेंट वी केम बैक आई टोल्ड आराधना मैम कि मैम ये ब्लड का कॉस्ट तो बहुत ज़्यादा है, लोग नहीं ले पाते हैं. 750 रुपये हुआ करता था उस समय. तो इन लोग के लिए ब्लड फ्री किया गया, पहला ऑर्डर निकला था उस समय. देन वी केम अप विद दैट BBC, इफ़ यू हैव सीन, कि मुझे थैलेसीमिया उस बच्चे को करा. वो एक IC बनाई, दैट इज़ रिटन बाय मी ओनली. तो वो बनाया गया. खैर ये सब चलते. जब मैं NHM में आई तो ये मेरे दिमाग में था कि मैं उस समय मदद नहीं कर पाई, बिकॉज NACO के पास ये एडवांटेज नहीं है टू गो इनटू द अदर फील्ड. They have to be focused. So when I came here, we have to start with this. And it was like we kept on writing. So I said, we cannot jump like this. This has to needs a cabinet approval. This needs thought. And I called the NGOs of the country because they were hue and cry. Like somebody needs to listen to them. Then I said, ki, sir, I have gone through those stages. Please understand. So we called everybody together. And there was a meeting on 10th of February, which was supposed to my daughter's birthday. I said, ki, she was saying, I remember, we all sat around, there were 20 organizations which came across the country. Even I didn't pay them to come because I was not having that enough money to pay them for their airfares and everything. So we sat together. Then C.K. Mishra, that time he was additional secretary. We gave them a presentation. Thanks to C.K. Mishra sir and Manoj Jalani sir that day. He said, Vinita, take it on file. Whole night we worked. People were there, they have to go back, but they cancelled their flights. They said, Vinita, you have taken such a good honor, we will be there with you. So some of the doctors across the country and some of the organizations sat with me the whole night. And morning at 9, we came up with the file. And can you imagine, that was the best day of my life, I should say, best day. In 3.5 hours, we got the file approved from Harshvardhan sir. He wrote on the file, excellent. And that was the day when I felt no, things can be done in a day itself if you are willing to do it. It was my dream coming true after 3.5 years. And that guy I was supporting actually. So I went after 2-3 days, I went with my kids to support him. Let's go and meet him because he's the person who taught me thalassemia. And the day we started with the journey about hemoglobinopathies, first we started with thalassemia, then I included sickle cell, and then I included hemophilia. So it was 3 of things together, blood disorders came. So these things, and when we started working on this, we started going to the interiors. And the interiors were very different. As you said, and we came up with the best medicines for them, blood, everything. These guidelines were so beautifully drafted that it was, I think I remember there was a Lancet Commission's report which said these are one of the best guidelines of India. 2016 guidelines which came in. So all these things have been, it's like it's a community, again I say, it's a participation, it's a teamwork which came up and gave a boost to such things which were not there in the country itself. There was small screening which was done by ICMR Jan Vigyan project and all, but nothing that's an intervention. And started with the intervention, and finally, when I was in tribal affairs, I came up with sickle cell mission, and all credits to again Honorable Prime Minister, because in 2014 he went. He said, we have to do these things, but somehow it was not working, and thanks to everybody who came forward to work on these things. So, and it is like, it was for me, it is a dream coming true.
To that day, ma'am, when you sat during the entire night with a bunch of people and tried to create a file out of it, cut to this day where we freely talk about sickle cell, hemoglobinopathies, hemophilia. I'm sure back 10 years ago, these discussions or these disease areas were not even common, not even known to so many people. Say about a healthcare delivery person knowing about how sickle cell anemia works or a thalassemia thing works, cut to this day. So I think it has been one journey for you, ma'am, and the way that you've told us, you literally have been the groundbreaker of how the blood cell reforms work in the country. Thanks so much, ma'am, for sharing so many personal insights.
It's all because of God, grace, and if you have a good family behind you, saying everybody. Because I remember one more thing, while my daughter had a pot spine, and I was working for all my modules, training modules, because she couldn't sleep in the night. So I used to sit with her and draw these modules, these simple modules for training modules for hemoglobinopathies and blood services. So just imagine the girl was sitting, because she had the pot spine, she was on bed for 9 months. So during that period, these things have made me learn. It was my own daughter, where I am working in the health ministry, having all those facilities. What about other people? The genetic diseases which are not, it's not their problem.
The carriers don't even
They
know
know
that they're
about
carrying it. Yeah.
And so the much of the awareness, much of the known things. So then when we started with this sickle cell, that's why I spoke about first as the preventive, where people should know what exactly is the disease. Started working on those things. Then it comes for counseling and the basically the screening, the treatment, and then it's come for the holistic management.
I'm taking a road ahead from what we discussed. You also briefly mentioned while you were sharing your journey about how policy interventions usually work in silos. Specifically, so as an outsider, for me, usually when we talk about policy interventions at the government level, they usually work in silos. But from your vision, what specific strategies have you probably incorporated or you envision to incorporate just to make sure that there are a lot of intersectoral collaborations within the healthcare or I'd say the government sectors?
Sickle cell mission is a basically example for this. So while we were drafting the sickle cell mission roadmap, so I was just going through what exactly needed. So these ICDS, WCD's department is so important. When we are talking about the antenatal care and the mother care and the child care, why they are not be involved? It's not only health, they have to be involved. So when we started drafting these roadmaps, so we got everybody together. WCD, social justice, food security. And my seniors used to say, why you are getting every department together? And I said, until they are going to, even panchayats, Yuva Kendras, NSS and SS, who are going to be the motivators? Who are going to be the caregivers? Not in real way, but in another way. Caregivers doesn't mean only the health workers are the caregivers. So all these people came together to draft the roadmap. While I was drafting, so we wrote everybody's work. This ministry is going to do this ministry is going to do this, and that was the best thing, and everybody wanted to do. It's not like we have written, so they are doing. No. It's like everybody was so much involved when we started working and having these meetings under the chairmanship of all the ministers. They love to do it. And then I realized that convergence is the best model. It's the only mission in the country which has a good convergence model. And I proudly say, because from first day onwards, I was running from post to pillar to meet these people's higher ups. Difficult to meet them. But everybody, once I met them and make them understand what exactly it is and why we are wanting you and why we need your help, sir. So they all came forward. So this is the only mission which I say which has a good convergence model. Like social justice, we got the disability. Now earlier disability was for 1 year. We make it for 3 years. Now it is for permanent. So until the social justice department understood that, and it was from the minister side to the two ministers were sitting together and deciding things. Similarly with the WCD, ICDS was involved for screening and the children taking care. Now these ICDS peoples are ANMs and ASHA workers were trained. ASHAs so not, I will not show, but ANMs were trained. These ICDS Anganwadis were trained. We used to train them. There were lakhs of Anganwadis who were trained from the tribal department. Why we were training you? Just to tell them, if a child comes with this, please understand how you are going to take care. Then the school people, school education, CBSE, there we could keep a small chapter on it. All these things, I mean, it was, I should say, it's a good learning and it was a good interaction with people. Because see, if you teach children at the age of 8th or 10th, they will know what exactly. We don't know. Even I never went for my thalassemia checkup or this checkup. Now I know and I can do it. I can tell people who are getting married, we say, Rakt Kundli milao, Jan Kundli bhale mat milao. Rakt Kundli ज़्यादा important है. Because इन माँ बाप के बच्चे एक चीज़ बहुत समझने की है, they die every day. It's not one day. Other like cancer people, they die one day, but these children, their parents and these children die every day. When we came up with this Thalassemia Bal Seva Yojana, which I initiated when I was in Ministry of Health in 2017 itself, I spoke to CSR because this is a CSR activity done by the Coal India. Why I'm saying, see, so many people involvements. Now, can anybody imagine about Coal India doing sickle cell? Or we can think of social justice doing this, WCD, food security, because of the rice fortification was a challenge. So everybody, now nobody knows which food intake is very important. If you're not, so when we started doing this, I'm just telling the CSR activity. Now these people, the sickle has become the part of it. We started with this mission. A small amount was given it. Initially, it was only for 200 children. Now it has gone up to such a scale and is one of the best model across the world. Similarly, for when we talk about sickle cell mission, it is also going to be one of the best model across the world, because none of the countries knows that this is going to be. So I'm trying to help some of the countries. I mean, during my period in tribal affairs, because my honorable minister also wanted that you should teach others also what you have done. So that was a learning, and I have presented in so many places as well, in UK, then in Paris and all. But now they want to adopt the model what India has. So that's a learning for all of us. Yes, and sickle cell mission is the only mission which has a convergence, none of the others.
I think, ma'am, the question Gerard that just put intersectoral collaborations fits right well to the sickle cell mission that you just quoted an example of. Just by listening all of it, ma'am, I just can't imagine just envisioning all of these things back a few years back when you were just, going through so many personal challenges as well. Right today, when you see everything becoming, your dreams becoming and creating a vision of its own. So it should be very heartwarming and fulfilling, and the both
yes,
ways.
it's very self-satisfying
It
actually.
does.
It's self-satisfying. Then you see your kids means your patients.
Yeah.
My patients are my kids. They call me mom also. So the best part is when they say, I'm getting blood, I'm getting medicine, I'm getting this, I got transplanted. So I'm the happiest mom. I should say they all are my kids. My patients are my kids actually. They love me. And the best part is I love them so much because their smiles is my smiles. बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Very heartwarming, very fulfilling. Ma'am, we've, dug enough throughout your journey and also some of the missions that you just mentioned. I'm sure there might be a lot of leadership lessons that you might have learned. There has been so many mentors throughout your life, and now you're mentoring so many people under your guidance. I'm sure, ma'am, there might be many lessons that you learned the easy way and also the hard way. So could you also please share some examples of some leaderships that you probably learned the hard way that you just like to quote to our audience?
One important thing is, अगर आप पीछे देखेंगे तो सावित्री की मैं बात करूँगी, जिसने भले अपने पति को लिया लेकिन वो भगवान से लड़ गई. तो क्यों नहीं हम जैसे आम आदमी जो भगवान से तो नहीं लड़ना चाहेंगे लेकिन ईश्वर रास्ते जरूर बना सकेंगे जिसमें भगवान भी सहयोग करे. तो वो है मकसद काम करने का. सो सावित्री एंड देन सुषमा स्वराज. She inspired me a lot. So her way of working was very different, and I used to follow her. But that was one thing which made me. So from Savitri to Sushma.
Beautiful. Ma'am, also, I'm sure the audiences that are listening to us right now, many of them would be, looking to start their careers in public health services. So is there a small message that you'd like to give them before they dive into what they are supposed to dive in? Just a reality check कि आप ये करने वाले हैं. This is the expectation setting.
Public health is very wide actually. Disparities are also there. But if you are willing to do something, you can do it here. They wanted to have a separate cadre, but it is not needed as such. The need is your will. So if you want to do services, that's the best way to do. And public health is a place where you can do much more things where others can't do it.
With that, ma'am, we are towards the conclusion of our discussion. But before I let you go, and I'm going to take the most of this opportunity, we'd have a quick rapid fire round. I have an interesting set of questions that I'm going to ask you, and I'll just request whatever comes to your mind most quickly, then we'll, take the rapid fire rounds. So my first question is, one word that defines your leadership style.
Vision.
A book or film that has inspired your approach to public service.
Siko. Movie.
A common myth about working in government healthcare setups that you'd like to debunk.
Funds.
Funds hain.
There is no dearth of funds.
But nikalna aana chahiye. A daily ritual that keeps you grounded.
Worship.
If not public health, what alternate career you would be pursuing?
Music.
Oh wow. In one sentence, what gives you hope right now?
My patience.
With that, we come towards the wrapping up of this discussion. What a fulfilling and heartwarming discussion it was with ma'am, hearing all her groundbreaking experiences, her personal experiences, and many, many reforms that she has single handedly led that has today led to a situation where we very often talk about hemoglobinopathies, sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, TB, snakebite. These are the segments that were not talked about a few years back. So it is my absolute honor once again, ma'am, to be having this discussion with you. It was a lovely time interacting with you, and I hope all the very best and I wish all the good luck to you towards many such reforms that you have in your head. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.